that has an MHC class 2? Antigen presenting cell, right? An antigen presenting cell, okay? There you can be the CD cell. And give you the TH cell, okay? And you have a T cell receptor because you're a TH cell. Okay? And you're going to have an MHC class 2 also, because the B cell is also an antigen presenting cell, okay? And the TH cell has cytokines that it's going to release when I tell it to. Okay? So let's see if you can follow through what's happening here. Let me put it up on both screens here. We'll see if we can follow through what's happening. Right? Okay. So the bacterium has a PAMP. And the PAMP is going to be recognized by a receptor, not the MHC2 receptor. Just hold out your hand or something. Just hold out your hand or something like that. Yeah. So the PAMP is going to be recognized by a receptor on the macrophage. What's that receptor called? PRR, right? Okay. And the macrophage is then going to engulf the bacterium. Yeah, that's fine. Good. Yeah, engulf. Good enough. Yeah. Okay. And digest it. And display, so this is digested, and display a portion of it on MHC class 2, right? Was that an endogenous antigen or an exogenous antigen? Exogenous, right? It was engulfed, and then now it's displayed on MHC class 2. Okay. Now, next time we're going to talk about how a T cell gets activated, but basically we've already mentioned in brief a little bit about that. The T cell receptor is going to recognize that peptide displayed on MHC class 2. Okay? And now the T cell becomes activated. Okay, so just hang out your axis. Okay? Okay. Meanwhile, so she's activated now, she's ready to do her thing, right? Meanwhile, this MHC class 2 is still displaying this peptide. Now, B cells are just sort of wandering around, right? They're in circulation. Every now and then they find, good job. Every now and then they find a peptide that has been spit out by the macrophage, but about 97% of the time they're going to find the peptide on the MHC class 2. And they're going to bind to it and remove it from the macrophage MHC class 2. Now the B cell is also going to engulf that peptide. The B cell is not a phagocyte, so it can't engulf a whole cell, but it can engulf a small piece. And so it will engulf that small piece and digest it further. We made a mistake here because I didn't give him all his receptors. But, yeah, hold this out here. Let's go back here a minute. Right. Wow. This is good too because when you're doing this, you'll realize, oh wait, I forgot something, right? So you can go back and do that. So when he takes the peptide from her, if it was just MHC2 to MHC2, why would the B cell take it from the T cell? That's not what happens. The B cell receptor, right, this thing here, the B cell receptor takes the antigen from MHC class 2 of the macrophage. The B cell receptor is then engulfed, and this antigen is digested, and a portion of that antigen is displayed on the B cell's MHC2. Okay, so now the B cell is displaying a piece of that original bacterial peptide on its MHC class 2. Now, that TH cell is activated, right? And so these two guys are going to wander together. They're typically going to get together in lymph nodes. That's where B cells and T cells typically meet, right? And so the T cell receptor is going to interact with this same antigen that activated the T cell originally. The T cell is then going to release cytokines, and those cytokines are going to turn the B cell into a plasma cell. Right? The plasma cell is then going to start secreting antibodies. Secrete that. Right? So the TH cell activates the B cell and gets the B cell to turn into a plasma cell, and the plasma cell to secrete antibodies. That was a really good job for no practice, guys.